we're going to head over to the analyst desk.
Yeah, there we go. Gambit undefeated in week 3. And, well, they touched on the Corki already on the side of Forgiven, but when the picks and bans came out, especially that last rotation from Gambit, okay, everything looks kind of standard. Boom! Taric, which we both kind of frowned upon seeing it coming out.
It was kind of strange. I thought it was like a visual bug on the on the Champions League or something, but Taric came in, but it feels like it did kind of good against the Kalista, good to set up ganks, and I think the thought process is, you'll be useless later, and I'll take you with me, Kalista. That is like the thought process, because if Kalista does a snowball, she doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, and break that down maybe a little bit more. We had the Alistar Kalista, and traditionally, I said as well, Candy Panda has had very good early game runs on that Kalista, but also Forgiven and Ghost Pepper working together as that Corki Taric lane. I would forget it, we don't see him that often in that.
I think the gank that came in from Diamond Prox was very well timed. He got the Rek'Sai, which was kind of surprising. He doesn't play a lot of strong junglers, and he got this possibly the strongest early game jungler in the game. And he punished the bot lane, and like, it's perfect to do it against the Kalista bot lane, because it really scales poorly into the late game.
Well, as you mentioned, they got the first blood that way. We're actually going to get a replay up on the screen from a little bit further, which was a tower dive, I do believe, from Gambit coming out.
I think this particular replay, what I'm thinking is, it kind of highlights everything about the game. It's kind of messy. It also shows that Hecarim has this dominance in top lane. TP is in first, and also the fact that Gambit's bot lane is dominant in the bot lane. So they set up this dive, and we see Svenskr is coming in. He's kind of the shining light of SK. As the guys at the desk, I mean at the casting desk, said, he's had more damage than the Kalista, and we can clearly see that he's doing a lot of work in this fight. And also the fact that Gambit are coming out ahead after this fight also shows that they're kind of the stronger team in this matchup, simply because they're stronger bot lane and also stronger in the top lane. And we see Gambit Unforgiven, like, he's doing well with the Corki, and they kind of clean up the fight. Kind of sad that Svenskr dies in the end, but I don't think there's much more to say about this replay. But it kind of highlights everything about the game.
Yeah, I think we were gonna fast forward a little bit. Another kill comes out in the end there. We saw Shyvana dying there. Shyvana is actually getting buffed on 5.11. That's not the patch that they are playing on this one, so it was kind of weird seeing it return.
It was kind of strange, like blind picking it. There was a lot of good picks that are good into it, and especially the Hecarim. It scales better, does better in lane with the Ignite, and especially no smite on the Shyvana. That is usually the case. That the mindset is Shyvana is going to take jungle camps, keep pushing, take the ground from the enemy team, and keep creating like an advantage for herself. But against Hecarim with Ignite, that's not going to happen. And Hecarim does so much more in the mid game, in the late game than Shyvana. She just jumps in and she just tries to hit things, but Lulu slows her down and she does nothing.
Yeah, maybe he thought that Kabashar was going to go for the Gragas top lane again, but it wasn't true. It was the crazy pony. From the side of Gambit, though, they built that advantage up quite early. They did well in that. I actually thought they were going to go off much quicker. They actually took on the mid game and did pretty well, in my opinion. They went and they pushed all 3 lanes, but then it kind of slowed down again for them, which reminded me of the game yesterday, but it's to be expected.
It is kind of, I can see a lot of progress, which, like, Rome wasn't built in a day. That's what they say. And comparing the Gambit this week to the other week, I think the coach is doing a lot of good work. Yeah,
it also must take some time for a coach to get in there as well, as you know very well.
Yes.
And then finally, SK Gaming, well, another really bad week for them. What to you as a coach and looking at team are the most glaring things they have to change right now?
I feel there are clearly weaknesses in their, like, I think mid lane hasn't really adapted. You could see in the game he was always behind Fox in a matchup that should be very, like, I always call these kind of matchups. Behind Betsy, yeah. Sorry. Like, this is like a potato matchup. And Vladimir should eventually win. And it didn't happen, and he was always behind the Lulu when it came to roaming, and it kind of was disappointing in a way, and I think they have a lot of work to do.
Well, we'll see. No more potato matchups, maybe some fries matchups there for Fox. Thank you so much. There's just one match left to play out in the European LCS today, and it's our game of the week between the Unicorns of Love and H2K, who are just 1 win apart in the standings. Don't touch that browser. We'll be right back.
How well does SK know Forgiven? And how well does Forgiven knows SK?
The end of the fight, and then Rated gets bounced, but he throws down the Unbreakable Will and stays alive. Svenskr puts the big body back onto KabaShot. We see Fate's Call. It's going to pull in Rated backwards. He's got no Unbreakable Will. We do see Fox and Hemoplague's pop, but Freddy is continuing to take damage. Onslaught of Shadows goes, I think, a little wide of Candy Panda, but KabaShot is just rampaging through. He 1v1s Candy Panda like a hot knife through butter. Gambit undefeated. SK 0-6.